Here's a quick look at the overall setup. Off to the side, there's an infrared sauna. I painted the ceiling black, added string lighting and a heater. There are privacy curtains surrounding, and in back, added a towel rack. And here's the chest freezer that acts as the cold plunge. We'll go ahead and open it up and take a look. You can also see that I've used cedar pallet wood to build raised decking and a cover for the utility sink. So here's how I did it. You'll need a large chest freezer. 14.8 cubic feet is a good size, or larger. You can usually find good deals online at places like American Freight, especially if you search for scratched and dented chest freezers. I got mine for about $350. You definitely want to seal all of the seams to make sure it's completely waterproof. Don't use regular kitchen and bathroom caulk. Marine sealant is a really good option. You want to tape all the borders to keep from making a mess, and follow the directions carefully on whatever product you use. Now you could just stop there, and technically you have a cold plunge for somewhere in the $300 range, which is pretty amazing, but you'll probably want to add more options. So I'm going to tell you all the different things I added, and I'll supply links to all the different products in the video description. If you really want to go the extra yard, you can coat the entire inside with Pond Shield. It's non-toxic, it's built for marine life, and it's super durable. I also added color chips, the type you usually see on garage floors, to add some texture and a little color variation. You definitely want to keep the water clean, and you'll have to change the water constantly. So you could add regular bleach or peroxide. Some people add pool or spa chemicals. I chose to use an above ground pool and pump filter combination and an ozone generator. There are lots of options here, from basic aquarium and pond pumps and filters to above ground pool or spa pumps. This is the above ground pump that I'm using, and it comes with a filter. This is the ozone generator. It's a little overkill for this size because it's actually built for a spa, but it does a good job killing bacteria and it helps keep the water clear. It doesn't come with a plug for a standard receptacle, so I had to modify that, but it's pretty easy. This is the ozone injector I'm using, and basically it allows you to take the tubing from the ozone generator and connect it to your water line. Here's a diagram of how to connect the pump and the ozone generator together. I've included a detailed version of this in the video description. The water comes in here, it goes to the pump where it gets filtered, then it goes out. At the Venturi injector, ozone is added, and then it comes out into the cold plunge. These are the ozone bubbles. You can see them coming into the water line, and I extended it with some piping so it goes down to the far side of the tank. You'll need to cut away some of the freezer seal and lid for the water hoses to come through, and you could add some rubber or insulation in the back to help seal up that opening. I reduced the 1¼ inch pump hosing down to these 3/4 inch tubes because they fit through better. I attached the tubing to the sides with cable ties, and you can either super glue or epoxy the cable tie mounts to the side of the tank. I added a textured paint to the outside of the cold plunge. It kind of gives it a stucco feel and fits in with the rustic setting. This obviously isn't necessary, but I like the way it looked. This is the aquarium thermometer I used. I glued it to the side of the freezer. I like to keep mine around 50 degrees, which is actually much colder than you'd expect, but you can go lower if you can take it. I only need to run the freezer for 3 to 4 hours at night to keep it down to temperature. You want to make sure it's off when you're actually using it. You could use any timers for this. Ours is indoors, so we just use cheap ones. If yours is outside, you should consider other options. I only run the pump and the ozone generator for about a half an hour, and I do this several times throughout the day. You can adjust it as needed depending upon how many people use your cold plunge and how clean it stays. You probably want to consider getting a regular aquarium net or a small pool skimmer so you can get any hair or any floating objects off the surface of the water. You'll need to drain the freezer occasionally when you go to wash it all out. You probably have a small drain at the bottom, but it's going to take forever to get all the water out using that small drain, so it's much quicker to siphon it out with a larger hose. I use a regular sump hose. They're not very expensive and they're pretty big. I just took basic pallet wood, which is typically made out of cedar and it's already water resistant, and built a simple deck so that you're raised up out of the puddles while you're drying off. And I built a simple cover for the utility sink. Because ours is in the basement, it makes a nice area to set your coffee if you plunge in the morning or your beer in the evening. So here's a final look at the whole setup. I hope you enjoyed the ideas. Good luck with your own cold plunge setup, and please leave me a comment about how yours is going. If you want to learn more about health practices like this, please subscribe to the channel and share with others.